Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Andertons TV, where today it feels like we're going in a time machine back to the glorious days of the 1980s, where hair was big and guitar solos were bigger. Maybe it was the other way around. Maybe guitar solos were big, but the hair was bigger.
I don't know.
The cod pieces were even bigger. So yeah, Andertons is stocking a new range of custom-made guitars from California called Iconic Guitars.
Carlsberg.
And we really like them. Carlsberg or Carlsbad?
Carlsbad, sorry.
Carlsbad. Who's Carlsberg? Probably the finest guitar. Was that Heineken?
I was going to say...
I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
If Carlsberg made guitars, but then, of course, Carlsbad made guitars. Whatever.
Anyway, so Iconic Guitars is the brainchild of a cool guy called Kevin Proctor out in sunny California.
Yes.
And earlier today we were chatting to Kevin, and this is what he had to say. Hey Kevin, thank you very much for joining us. It looks a lot sunnier where you are than it is over here, so we're a bit jealous.
It is. I am in beautiful Carlsbad, California, which is where I reside and where the Iconic Guitars factory is at.
Well,
amazing.
So look,
jealous.
We've had a little bit of a play around on these and we'll continue to do so, but could you tell us and the people watching as well a little bit of the history of Iconic Guitars, please?
Yeah, for sure. So I started doing this, well, semi-professionally. It was a little bit later, but I started messing around with guitars when I was a really, really young kid. And, you know, we had gigs all over the Midwest. I grew up in the Chicagoland area. And one of the things about, you know, playing in hot and sweaty pubs and bars and then going outside when it's, you know, 0 degrees outside is your guitar moves a lot. So it was kind of a necessity to be able to learn how to adjust a truss rod and blah, blah, blah. So I've never been afraid to, you know, do things like that. And then, you know, gosh, it was a natural evolution of things. Oh, you know, we're going to throw some Duncans in. We're going to throw some, you know, DiMarzios in, whatever, you know, all that kind of stuff that we're doing when we're younger. And, you know, I'm a kid of the 80s. So, you know, that was kind of the thing, you know, all these kind of hot rodded guitars that were popular through the, you know, late 70s and 80s when I was growing up. And I did the whole guitar playing thing till I was about 29. I had young kids and just realized that maybe rock and roll wasn't my thing. I just, you know, at 29, I hadn't really made it, you know, so I kind of hung up my rock and roll shoes. And then some years later, things in life changed and I came back to playing guitar and just realized how much I loved it and how much I'd missed it. Just got busy with life, raising kids and everything, and then came back into it. And much like many things in life, you know, I wanted a guitar I couldn't afford. And so I said, you know, hey, I've had a really successful go at building a lot of things. And I think, you know, maybe some of your folks know, maybe not. I did custom motorcycles for about 12 years and was pretty heavily involved and had a lot of motorcycles and a lot of the publications, you know, national and international publications. And so getting into guitars was kind of like a rekindling of that, if you will. I got to express myself artistically and build what I wanted because I couldn't afford it. So several years into that, my accountant looked at it as my wife and said, "Hey, this just looks like you're trying to write off your hobby." And I go, "Yeah, so what's your point?" He goes, "We should sell them." My wife at that time had come into the studio and I've got guitars hanging all over that I've built. And, you know, she looks around, she goes, "You got about like 30 guitars in here." And I go, "I don't walk into your closet and start counting your damn shoes."
Don't even go there. Don't even try that.
So yeah, the accountant insisted that I should try to start selling them. And that was in 2016. After I had been doing guitars pretty regularly for about 4 years by then. It started in about 2012, and I was selling a couple, but not really. I really just wanted to keep them all. I'm not going to lie. And so in winter 2017, we showed our first guitars at Winter NAMM here in Anaheim, which luckily for me is about an hour up the road. And, you know, it's been really good. We've had some really great acceptance. People have gotten their hands on the guitars and really appreciated the things that we're doing. And through that, I've been able to assemble a team of really, really great guys to help me out and gals. I couldn't do this if it wasn't for my wife. She's the real patriarch of the whole thing. But it has, over the last couple of years, really gotten some traction. You know, we've been really pleased to be working with you guys and quite a few dealers internationally. So it's really taken off. And for me, being able to do what I love and put that passion into, every instrument. And then even with the folks that, that work alongside of me at the shop, we all have that. We eat, breathe, sleep in the restroom, everything guitars.
So that's quite rapid growth to go from starting in 2016 to having the size of team and operation you've got now. What is it about your guitars you think that has been so well received?
When I was young, I had a penchant, even younger, for nice things. I sold a 78 Les Paul Custom to finance my first Charvel San Dimas USA guitar in 1984. And that guitar was $1,150 then, which is insane, right? I was a 14-year-old kid. So I've always kind of known what a great instrument feels and plays like. Over the years, I've had the luxury, the privilege, I guess you could say, to own some custom shop guitars and some great boutique names out there. Some folks that we get mentioned in the same sentence as now, who I look up to in this industry. John Suhr, Tom Anderson, those kind of guys. Love and appreciate all those things that they're doing, and to me, it's a real blessing to be mentioned in the same sentence even as those guys who have such a storied career. But being able to take what I feel makes a really good playing guitar and impart that into an instrument, whether it has a vintage feel or a modern vibe, or it's sometimes challenging, and I've got some theories on that I've developed over time of why and how I like to do things, and have guys at the shop who have been doing this for 20 and 30 years who kind of get on with the program of what we've come up with.
So you do your own pickups as well? Is that something that you come up with together with the guys, or is that your thing?
Yeah. So over the last, I would say probably 2 years. Well, we introduced them last year at NAMM.
Yeah.
So it's probably 2 years prior to that. I have bought and sold pickups. I think as I was mentioning, pickups in and out of guitars throughout. It's just, I think it's a part of what we do.
Yeah.
But I knew that I liked certain things, certain characteristics better than others for certain types of things that I do. So I worked with a guy. His name's Brian Porter. He's been building my pickups now for almost 2 years, and we did a lot of back and forth, a lot of tone adjectives we've thrown around. Woody this, and blah blah blah. All the adjectives you could possibly throw at a guitar tone, and swap wires and wire size and magnets, and basically through a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
And utilizing things in comparison and side by side, like literally taking a guitar like Lee has, putting a set of pickups in there, playing through it on the exact same time, pulling that pickguard in, laying in another one, and saying, yeah, I like these things, I like those things, taking some copious notes, and making the appropriate changes. So that whole process took just shy of 2 years, probably about 18 months. And not to say that was a front burner project all the time. Certainly it was something that was a developmental thing. And like I said, they are a proprietary wine that I've come up with, and people ask me about things, how I do it all the time, and I've got no secrets how we do things. I have a guy who's really great at winding pickups that I have make those for me. We just don't have the capacity to do it.
They sound great, and there's definitely a certain iconic tone of the guitars, the ones we played so far, that I can tell that it's not exactly like other brands. It's got its own kind of thing, and that's pickups are so important.
It's one of the things that we did. Over the years of doing this, we used hundreds of sets of Lawlers, and Tim Mills over at Bare Knuckle put a bunch of his pickups in our guitars, and certainly, with me coming out and putting a branded pickup in our guitar, by no means is it to say, I don't like anything that Seymour or Larry DiMarzio or anything those guys are doing. I just wanted to have something where we kind of had our own voice in the market, if you will.
Exactly. And I think that's so cool. I think that's really cool.
I mean, you build guitars doing a variety of exotic woods, some in, brand new finishes, some you like to do the relicking thing. We've got shapes that are all they're all sort of Fender-y shapes, I think. At least that's the bulk of what I've seen in your catalogue.
Yeah.
But are these all, is everything you build a one of a kind, or do you have a sense of, certain models where you build, repeat versions of them over and over?
Great question. Thanks, Lee. So it's a two-part thing, actually. So we have kind of like, for lack of a better term, the core models that we do. That have a fairly limited menu of options, and what I've found over the period of time of doing this is that these are the guitars that are most requested. So we do those more. Obviously, we're selling more. Makes good sense, right?
Yeah.
So in there, every now and then, like like the one that Pete's holding there, we get to go a little bit of creative and do something that may not be. Something you may not see every day. And then even with like the guitar you've got there, Lee, it definitely a bit of a take. I believe that guitar is actually loaded with arcane pickups from my good buddy just up the road here in North Hollywood, Rob Timmons.
Yeah.
Pickup winder to the stars.
Yeah.
Those are a great sounding set of pickups in there as well. But with regards to I guess what we would call production style models, we have our vintage series, our vintage modern, which have become our most popular, and then we have the evolution series, which would be more of the modern accoutrements and nice poly finishes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The vintage modern really came about by accident. It was I had 4 or 5 clients ask me all within a couple of weeks of each other, hey, I really like the look of a vintage guitar. I like the relic, but I just can't get with that vintage radius. And, there's some things there that I just can't over the 6-point trim and blah, 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 blah. Pardon me. So we said, okay, well, what if we did something that from the player's perspective, sitting felt like a modern guitar, but had the aesthetic of a well-worn, 50s, 60s style Fender or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, the whole mantra behind that. With a lot of those we do a thin C neck, 10 to 14 compound radius, jumbo stainless frets, stuff that you're not going to find on a vintage guitar,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it does feel more modern to play as well. Can I just ask a question about the necks? Because all of these necks, not this one, but especially these flamey, they're just beautiful. Is that you? Do you pick all of that, and where do you get it from? Is it locally sourced, or is it Canadian flame maple or something? Like everybody talks about.
So we get it from a company out of Michigan,
okay.
And we specify 5A on a lot of things. Sometimes it's just not available. The trees do what the trees do, so we can't boss them around. So sometimes I've got to settle for some 4A or even some 3A. Which is still, spectacularly beautiful wood. It just, like on that purple flamed one, that's behind that neck is just,
Yeah, that's incredible.
It's just an insanely figured piece of wood.
Yeah.
So we, have continual conversations with the company that processes that roasted wood for us.
Yeah.
And I try to stay right on top. When I know there's a good batch of, I just bought, I think $5,200 of flame roasted maple the other day. So
yeah, and it's that
we got a bunch more coming.
And the bodies are the same. You use because they're all lightweight on there as well. So that's great. Anyway, it's great. I think we just.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
I know for anybody watching this that wants to find out a bit more, maybe spec their own one up, our guys in the Guitar Gallery. So that's it's easy to remember the name of who works in the Guitar Gallery because everyone's called Paul.
Yeah.
But yes, give them a call or drop them an email or whatever, links in this video below. But yeah, check them out. I really look forward to having a play on these. I look forward to seeing some of our customers come in and give them a whirl as well. And I look forward to seeing you again, hopefully at the next NAMM show, or if you're in the UK, come on over and hang with us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for getting over there and hanging out with you guys. We'll just do a massive jam session.
Awesome. Send us some of your weather too.
Yeah, man. Look at that sky. Look at that sky.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Take
Kevin.
it easy, man.
All right,
Have a
we'll see
great
you
day.
guys.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me on. We'll see you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Kevin, for giving us a bit of background and history behind iconic guitars. Pete and I grabbed half a dozen guitars out of the shop earlier. We got a few more in stock, actually, and hopefully now you're seeing some beautiful sweeps of the guitars in the showroom. And yeah, please, if there's anything here that catches your eye, or you see anything on the Iconic Guitars Instagram page, which is a great page to follow,
Go and follow.
then please do drop the guys at the store a line, and they can help you with your inquiry, or perhaps you can come in and try one, or they can do a video demo for you. We have got a mix, really, of Evolution series. We've got some vintage moderns, and we've got some vintage, so we've got a bit of everything here to show you today. So we're going to start off with that awesome looking kind of green over sunburst relic Super Strat.
Super Strat, yeah. This is just a Super Strat with a 10 to 14 inch compound radius and a slim kind of D kind of neck on it.
So that's an Evolution spec, right?
It's an Evolution spec, all nitro finish. With a satin finish maple neck and locking tuners. You've got locking tuners and a locking nut and an F4 Floyd Rose drum system. Nice. Is it called an F4? I think it's an F4.
I think it's like top of the range, basically.
Yeah, so it's
Floyd,
top of the range, so it's a proper Floyd. It's a two-piece swamp ass body on here as well, with a naughty little push.
Push, push.
Push, 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 push.
So what, I mean, that's...
On the pickup, yeah. Which is, again, their own pickups that they make themselves, like Kevin explained in the video.
So that, for me, the spec on that is ultimate Super Strat, isn't it? Compound radius fretboard, Floyd, swamp ash body, so it's nice and light.
Yeah. Headstock. With the matching
cool.
headstock
So
as well.
let's have a little listen to that.
Yes, let's have a listen to what it sounds like. Here's the neck pickup. Just, you know, nice, jangly sound. Here's the two pickup together. I always have to get used to Floyd Rose because it does that kind of thing. I'm thinking maybe it's got that 80s
It's so
kind of
80s,
sound,
isn't it?
It's so 80s. But I know you guys like with no pedals.
I agree. I mean, if you look at the history of the guitar,
Yeah.
it kind of started in the 50s, the electric guitar. Started in the 50s, was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think in the 60s, it was still awesome. 70s, not so awesome. 80s, awesome. 90s onwards, nothing really changed.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's it.
That was it. That
But
was
it's
it.
never
The
really
entire
changed.
history of the electric guitar in those half a dozen throwaway sentences, basically. 3 decades of good.
Not
and then
so
nothing
good,
changed.
and then nothing has changed since then. Well, then people come out with their own, you know, iterations of guitars. This is the middle pickup. It is just that
It's
sound,
so
isn't
80s.
It? It's so 80s.
My daughter's got like an Egypt day at school or something like that, and she's been playing Walk Like an Egyptian permanently at home. But it's just like, it's a great tune with a great kind of jangly guitar sound in it. It's just, everything was better in the 80s, basically.
Yes.
Only because I was in my 20s then. No, actually, no, I wasn't. Crikey, I'm not that old. I was in my teens.
I was just about to say,
I was in my teens. It was good. It was a good time.
Yeah, I remember when it turned 90, you know, I remember all that stuff. Anyway, that's for another day. Here's these two pickups together, full humbucker on the bridge. And then we can split it. It's so easy. Let's go on the bridge with not split.
Yes.
Oh,
hello.
That's like, hey,
It's, come
this
on,
is the
bring
assault
it in.
bit, isn't it? Split it. very bright.
Yeah,
I mean, I would
too
dial off
bright.
the top. But that's when you put on the protein. Becomes a rock machine right there on that bridge.
I cannot
pickup.
wait to see that neck. Just needs a few hundred miles on it.
Yeah, it does.
A little bit of dirt, and
grease
blood,
in
and
it.
sweat and tears and stuff.
Yeah.
And that is such a good-looking guitar.
A bit of virus.
I always
going
liked
there.
the overspray. It was such a classic kind of the overspray. So many people back in the 80s, late 70s and 80s would have hot rodded their guitar, and they probably had a sunburst guitar that looked a bit like their dad's, looked like Buddy Holly's guitar or something, and they thought, I know, I'll spray it lime green, and then as it wears away, the sunburst comes through, and it's just a cool
when you're
guitar.
playing, right there when you're playing. That's just a...
We need purple over sunburst.
Oh, purple over sunburst.
Can you imagine purple over sunburst?
I think we need to try that, yeah. I'm just going to really quickly go through all the other pickups with the gain on.
That almost sounded like Rabir when he does his kind of like
head. Right, he's
oh man, that's
a good sound, isn't it?
Yes,
a bit of
great.
And the two pickups together. Split it. Anyway, enough of that.
Well, look, so the silver one that I've got is also an Evolution spec guitar. So we've got the same kind of vibe in the compound radius fretboard and the sort of neck carve. I've got this crazy roasted maple.
Oh, that is wonderful.
Roasted maple neck and board. I've got a slightly different spec on the pickups and the humbuckers though. So I've just got two of the iconic Assault humbuckers. Again, I've still got the push-push to split them, so just a three-way position here, but with 6 different tones if I use the push-push. And not really a vintage style, but like a modern dual fulcrum, but standard floating trem as opposed to the Floyd Rose. Still got the locking tuners on the back. Still, this is an older body, this one, but again with a sort of a relic nitro finish here. I've got different pedals and stuff on my board. It's going to sound a little different to Pete, but here it is with a Lightspeed into a Nobles ODR1. Just singing, why have I gone straight for the gain, Pete? I normally do clean first.
Yeah, but that's the guitar, man. It's got a reverse headstock. It wants gain.
It's taken me that way. So you can hear now, of course, I've got a much darker, fatter sort of neck tone than was on that green guitar that Pete was playing. Unless, of course, I pop this out and then... And then it's a little bit more like the guitar Pete had. So you've got a whole bunch of tones here, depending on whether you like the sort of the humbucker at the neck or the single coil at the neck.
Yeah. There's a black one like that in all dark black.
Didn't we use that in another video?
Yeah, we used another video. That looks great as well.
It If you
they really want to be played, these guitars.
Yeah, if you've never had
set up nicely.
a compound radius guitar before, it's really noticeable, or particularly on this one, it is really noticeable once you get past the 12th fret that the fretboard is flatter,
Yeah.
the action feels lower, and you can kind of, there is that sense you can go a bit faster. But look, so in the interest of sort of moving forward, I'm not going to stay on this guitar too much longer. If you like the look of it, you should dive on over to the Andertons store and have a blast yourself.
Yes, there'll be links below. And while you're below there, please like and subscribe. Like this video and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, right? Anyway, let's move on. All right, so let's have a look at this gorgeous flake. It's called Jade green flake. Gorgeous rosewood board here. A little bit more vintage because the neck is quite a little bit fatter as well. But look at this flame. It's a 5A piece of flame neck. I don't know if you can catch that there, but I mean, that is insane. It's like a 50s kind of neck on it. Locking tuners on there, open geared, love those. No naughty, just a 3-way selector. It's funny, this is, you're used to it a little bit different way, but So
that's quite traditional wiring, isn't it?
Traditional wiring. You see this, it's a little bit more modern, isn't it, with that, where you don't have that bit there, so you're...
Yeah, so they've done like a sort of a cutout,
sort of
ashtray style to it. What are the saddles? Are they like
they are brass? They look like
they're intonation compensated though, are they? Because they're not complete cylinders, are they? They're sort of
they look like they're compensated for.
Yeah. That's cool, isn't it, man?
Yeah, it's a lovely guitar here, serial number 0257. Yeah, lovely guitar, but let's just hear what it sounds like instead. Look at that flame. It's a satin finish neck as well, so it's lovely. Got that telly snap, back pickup. It's sort of Dane. Normally telly flax Dane. So easier to play with that compound, it's just middle position. Nice.
I like it.
Nothing to see there other than some flake.
Look at the
spark
colour.
in it. I mean, that is a great colour. Have a look at that. What a lovely colour. Anyway, move on.
Okay, so
many guitars.
This is from the vintage series, but it's a real kind of like dark take on a Jazzmaster. So we've got this stained, smoky grey blue kind of neck, which is a maple neck, but as I said, just been stained in this kind of smoky grey blue. We've got like a mirrored scratch plate on here over this slightly metallic grey finish. Mastery bridge and trem system.
Top notch.
And iconic Revolution Jazzmaster style pickups.
Yeah. What a cool
pickup selector in this kind of almost like where you'd expect a Les Paul selector would be, which I kind of like.
That's like the Fender's done on some of the Jazzmasters, that they moved all that stuff out of the way and they just they only have that, so you can't mess it up.
Yeah. Lot less output and kind of a more jangly tone than you would get on.
It's got the Jazzmaster tone.
It's got the Jazzmaster tones. With
that trem system is good, right?
Yeah, mastery stuff. I remember Tom Gray showed me some mastery stuff. It's crazy expensive.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen any guitar hardware more expensive than mastery stuff.
But it is
all hand kind of tooled and custom made, and really nothing off the shelf here. What shall we have? That's a good sound, man.
Is that a see-through scratch plate?
Yeah. Just
because I couldn't see if it was actually.
I mean, I wouldn't. Jazzmaster's not a guitar I have in my collection. I've always kind of enjoyed its quirkiness, but I've never really. But kind of feel even just playing old blues licks on it and stuff is inappropriate.
It is beautiful.
I can so see why that kind of. I always feel like shoegaze is a slightly derogatory term.
Yeah,
but it's like I don't mean it like that,
word.
but you can so see why those kind of ambient, atmospheric people have gone for the Jazzmaster, because it's jangly, the trem system. I've surprised myself with how much I really like that. So that's
a good guitar, that's a really good guitar.
It's just a cool take, isn't it? On it's a cool take. Not enough other brands really do their own Jazzmaster inspired kind of vibe things, do they?
That's true.
Holy mother of moly, Peter Honore! If a guitar could have been built for you, that would be it.
Can you see yourself there, Taylor, in the scratch plate? Can you wave to everybody? There you go. Right, Lee, so this is a vintage modern in an aged flake. But of course, a purple flame. Because everybody needs purple flame on their guitars. Ow. So you got the vintage specs of this guitar is the trem system, Callahan's. It's how to pronounce Callahan trem system, which is also just. That's the one Mick Taylor was like, oh, here's one have that. So if he likes it, then, and then you got a vintage tuners as well. So all of that is kind of the vintage spec. The rest of it is modern. So a compound radius neck here, 10 to 14. Again, a crazy flamed. Look at that. Oh, it's raining outside.
Wow,
you can hear that in our lapels.
If anybody has seen it's speaking of the 80s. If anybody has seen. The Flash Gordon movie from the 80s with Ming the Merciless and all that kind of stuff. the weather at the beginning of that movie is kind of like the weather that's happening in the UK at the moment.
Yep.
So maybe Ming the Merciless is approaching in his planet-destroying spaceship.
Because we need more stuff to happen.
Absolutely.
On the
yeah,
planet
why
at the
not?
moment.
I think that's what it is. Everyone said, it can't get any worse after Brexit. Oh no, I know what. Let's have COVID as well. It can't get any worse after that. Oh, let's have Ming the Merciless literally destroy the planet.
Just to come down and try to destroy everything. I'm up for that. Anyway, back to Flame Maple necks here. Look at that. Gorgeous. Again, super, just feels super nice.
Yeah.
So it's got a nitro finish, but it's cracked. Somebody's been at that with the hairdryer and the compressed air.
That's
you got
a great looking guitar, man.
SHH. Have you got any? Oh yes, we've got
or even SSH.
SSH or HSS.
Could be either of those.
It could be either of those, couldn't it? Hey, or either of those. Yes. It's a configuration on it. we have to call it that from now on. That's perfect. It's a configuration.
This is
Okay, so the pickups are their own pickups. So the set.
But you said it's the Revolution set.
Yeah.
So that's different. The Assault set. So I guess we're talking like maybe
It's
a more
bit more
vintage
yeah,
vibe set.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Okay, so here's the neck position. There's definitely a jankiness on their pickups. They all got this kind of...
Yeah.
Played my own delay just then. I'm just going to check it. Yeah, it is. It's all set the same. So these two together. I mean, it's got that tone, that fourth position. All right, here is the middle position, Lee. And here is the bridge and the middle position with the full humbucker. And the bridge. Again, that's a lot of poke in that, isn't it? Split it. Again, I'll probably dial the tone down a bit on that, but let's get some Dane on there, see what happens. Again, is that Revere tone almost. Like a nice stretchy tone, isn't it? Again, super easy to play. Here's the two pickups together. It's really
Go on,
easy,
son.
but it flattens out up there, doesn't it? I mean, these are Jessica nickel frets.
You got nickel frets now on there.
Yeah, this one had nickel frets. That has got nickel frets as well. That use the Jessica. So I would think it feels more like a vintage kind of 65.
I think you've got to really
fret.
run. You can spec whatever you want on
that's
these
the whole
iconic
thing, isn't it?
guitars,
Yeah.
and I kind of think on the first order that Andertons did, we just looked through a whole lot of photos and went, "Oh, that looked cool and that looked cool," and then we found out the spec kind of after they arrived. But
exactly.
you can do whatever you like. You can spec it from the ground up. You can just choose a photo that you think looks cool and take a punt on that. But that looks cool. And you even get Pete's fingerprints for free on that guitar.
I've had my vaccine, so you'll be fine.
Absolutely.
Here we go. So. definitely modern feeling playing guitar. Flames on it, man! Oh, that's good. Neck, bridge. They're good with gain, aren't they? You can do that with the because it's so flat.
Oh, mate.
Split it quick. Anyway, lovely.
Awesome.
Lovely. That was lots of gain on there. Lots of gain.
So lastly, before we quickly jam out, but as I said, there are more of these guitars over in the store. So
In the store?
The store? The store that we've opened up in Amsterdam.
Yeah, you was going to go work for Max Guitar there for a minute.
So this is another Evolution model, but again, HH. I'm just trying to see, how is this different to the silver one? I don't think this is terribly...
Three tones, so I think you've got a split for each pickup.
Oh!
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, I
Yes.
do. And again, very, very heavily dark roasted kind of flame maple
Beautiful.
neck here.
I mean, the
This
neck,
one's
man.
obviously in a non-relict finish. What do you call non-relic? New, I suppose. And that's, of course, your prerogative.
Yeah.
So this probably doesn't sound terribly different to the silver one. Yeah, Pete's right. So basically, I've just got ultimate splittage options here.
A bit like the Fiore.
Yes.
Actually,
Sorry.
that's what it is. That does the same thing, doesn't it?
Such a throaty,
That's
good
yeah.
sound. Not that I bend the strings like
There you go.
Just trying to give you an idea of like, that's the whole beauty of, again, those very flat kind of fretboards.
Yeah.
So look, Pete.
There we go.
You have to jam out with that one.
Yes, I will. It's a lovely guitar.
I kind of feel like I might go back to this Jazzmaster just because it's kind of...
Yeah.
I mean, I really, really, of the ones that I played, that does play exceptionally good and sounds good, but this just is so... Look at this, I'm kind of got the option of changing for the... So I have to do quickly, put the right angle then in... And let's just see where we go. I mean, I know what we're going to get inspired.
We'll
to
figure
play
something
out.
out. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah.
Thanks to Kevin for joining us for a little chat earlier on.
Yep.
And I think you're probably never going to see the same iconic guitar twice in Andertons. So please
Caveat.
do, again, like our Instagram, the Andertons Instagram page, because they post all the sexy pictures on there of the guitars we get. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching. See you tomorrow, probably.
Cheerio.
Bye. Cheerio. Okay.